Norse mythology is a rich tapestry of gods and monsters, woven with tales of heroism, treachery, and the occasional godly prank. It is a world of epic battles and grand adventures, where the brave and the bold carve their destinies amidst the chaos of war and sometimes a bit of mischief. This mythology, stemming from ancient Scandinavia, tells the story of the creation of the world, from the primordial void to the rise of the gods, who occasionally had a laugh at each other's expense. It tells of the lives and deeds of the gods, their triumphs and their downfalls, their loves, their rivalries, and their hilarious blunders. It even hints at the world's end, a cataclysmic event known as Ragnarok, where the fate of gods and men will be decided, possibly with a few laughs along the way. The myths were passed down orally for generations, shared by storytellers around roaring fires on long, dark nights, often with a chuckle or two. They were eventually written down in the 13th century, preserving these ancient tales and their humor for future generations. The most famous of these texts are the Poetic Edda and the Prose Edda, which serve as the primary sources of our knowledge of Norse mythology and the gods' comedic escapades. These texts provide a glimpse into the beliefs and values of the Vikings, revealing a culture deeply connected to its myths and its sense of humor. They tell us about their gods, their heroes, and their worldview, painting a vivid picture of a society that revered strength, honor, wisdom, and a good joke. Norse mythology is full of complex characters, each with their own stories, struggles, and moments of comic relief. The most well-known of these are the gods, such as Odin, the wise Allfather, and Thor, the mighty god of thunder, who sometimes got into amusing situations. These gods were not perfect beings, they had their flaws, made mistakes, and occasionally made us laugh. They were flawed like humans, which made their stories all the more compelling, relatable, and sometimes downright funny. This made them more relatable, even in their divinity, as they experienced love, loss, and the consequences of their actions, often with a humorous twist. The stories of these gods offer lessons about life, death, and fate, teaching us about the inevitability of change, the importance of courage, and the value of a good laugh. They explore themes of courage, wisdom, and the struggle between good and evil, reflecting the moral complexities of the human experience with a touch of humor. These themes continue to resonate with people today, as we find inspiration, meaning, and a bit of laughter in the ancient tales of the Norse gods and heroes. At the heart of Norse mythology stands Odin, a figure of immense power and wisdom, and a beard that could rival Gandalf's. He is the All-Father, the king of the gods, revered and feared by all, especially when he hasn't had his morning mead. He is a complex and multifaceted deity, embodying many aspects of life and death, and probably the original multitasker. Odin is associated with wisdom, war, death, magic, poetry, and prophecy, making him a god of many talents and responsibilities, and the ultimate overachiever. He is often depicted as a one-eyed wanderer, always seeking more knowledge and understanding of the universe, and probably the best hide-and-seek player in Asgard. Odin sacrificed one of his eyes at the Well of Mimir to gain unparalleled wisdom, a testament to his relentless pursuit of knowledge and his willingness to go to great lengths for a good story. He even hung himself from Yggdrasil, the world tree, for 9 days and nights to gain the profound knowledge of the runes, a powerful and ancient script, and probably the most extreme study session ever. This insatiable thirst for knowledge drives him in all his endeavors and makes him the ultimate trivia night champion. It is central to his character and defines his actions and decisions, and probably why he always wins at chess. Odin is not an only child, he is part of a divine family, and the sibling rivalry is legendary. He has 2 brothers, Vili and Ve, who are also significant figures in Norse mythology, and probably the original dynamic trio. They are often overlooked in the grand narratives of Norse mythology, but their roles are no less important, and they probably have a great sense of humor about it. Together, Odin, Vili, and Ve play a crucial role in the creation myth, shaping the world from the body of the giant Ymir, and probably arguing over who gets to name the mountains. This makes them fundamental to the Norse cosmos, as they laid the very foundations of the world and its order, and probably had a good laugh while doing it. The Norse creation myth is a tale of chaos and order, and a bit of cosmic comedy. It begins with Ginnungagap, a primordial void. Think of it as the ultimate blank canvas. From this void, the first being, Ymir, emerged. Talk about making a grand entrance. He was a giant, the progenitor of the frost giants. Basically, the original icebreaker. Alongside Ymir, the primordial cow, Audhumla came into being. Because every myth needs a cow, right? She licked the ice of Ginnungagap. A cow's got to eat. This gave birth to Buri, the first of the Aesir gods. Talk about a cool way to be born. Buri had a son, Bor, because even gods need family. Bor then fathered 3 sons, Odin, Vili, and Ve. The original Norse trio, these 3 brothers were instrumental in shaping the world. Think of them as the ultimate DIY team. They confronted and slew the giant Ymir. Talk about sibling teamwork. From his body they created the world as we know it. Recycling at its finest, Ymir's blood became the oceans. A bit messy but effective, his flesh became the earth. Talk about putting your body to good use, his bones became the mountains. Now that's what I call a solid foundation. The creation of the world didn't end with just the physical realm. Oh no, the gods had more tricks up their sleeves. Odin, Vili, and Ve also decided to dabble in a little DIY project, creating humankind. One day the brothers were taking a casual stroll along the beach, probably looking for seashells or something. Instead they stumbled upon 2 logs of driftwood. Talk about a lucky find. Odin, being the dramatic one, decided to breathe life into them. Because why not? Vili, the practical brother, gave them movement and intelligence. You know, the basics. Ve, the emotional one, gave them senses, speech, and emotions. Because someone had to make them interesting. And just like that, the first humans, Ask and Embla, were created. No assembly required. They were given Midgard, the realm of humans, to live in. Talk about prime real estate. This act highlights the importance of all 3 brothers in the grand scheme of Norse cosmology. Teamwork makes the dream work. They are the progenitors of life, both human and divine. And they probably had a good laugh about it too. Section 5, Guardians of the Cosmos, or just really good at hide and seek. Beyond the creation myth, the roles of Vili and Ve become less clear. Maybe they were just camera shy. They are not central figures in many other myths. Guess they didn't get the memo about being famous. This has led to much speculation about their purpose and significance, and a lot of head-scratching. Some scholars suggest that they represent aspects of Odin himself. Talk about a split personality. Odin is often associated with 3 elements: knowledge, power, and victory. Like a Norse superhero trio. It is possible that Vili embodies power while Ve represents victory. And Odin? Well, he gets to be the boss. This theory proposes that the 3 brothers are a representation of the multifaceted nature of Odin, like Odin's very own talent show. However, this is just one interpretation. The Norse version of who wore it best. Section 6, The Shadow of the Wolf. Spoiler alert, it's not a bedtime story. The most intriguing detail about Vili and Ve's story is their apparent disappearance. Maybe they just needed a vacation. The myths mention that Odin's brothers are no longer present. Did they ghost everyone? This absence is never fully explained. Classic Norse mystery. Some speculate that they were killed by frost giants seeking revenge for Ymir's death. Talk about holding a grudge. Others believe they journeyed to other realms and never returned. Maybe they found better Wi-Fi. Another theory, perhaps the most intriguing, connects their disappearance to the prophecy of Ragnarok. Because who doesn't love a good end-of-the-world story? Ragnarok is the cataclysmic end of the world in Norse mythology. Think of it as the ultimate Viking party. It involves a great battle between the gods and the giants. And you thought your family reunions were intense. According to prophecy, Odin will be devoured by the monstrous wolf Fenrir during Ragnarok. Talk about a bad day at the office. Section 7, Echoes in the Eddas. The Eddas, the primary sources of Norse mythology, offer fragmented glimpses of Vili and Ve, 2 lesser-known gods in the Norse pantheon. Think of them as the backup singers in a rock band, important but often overlooked. The Poetic Edda, a collection of poems, mentions them briefly in the Voluspa, prophecy of the Ceres and the Lokasenna, Loki's quarrel. These texts, rich in mythological lore, provide tantalizing but incomplete references to their deeds and significance. It's like getting a movie trailer with all the best parts cut out. The prose Edda, a guide to Norse mythology, written by Snorri Sturluson, provides a more detailed account of their role in the creation myth. Here, Vili and Ve are depicted as Odin's brothers, who helped him in the creation of the world, shaping the realms from the body of the giant Ymir. Talk about sibling teamwork. No IKEA furniture assembly could top that. However, even here, their story remains underdeveloped, leaving much to the imagination and interpretation of scholars and enthusiasts alike. It's like reading a mystery novel with the last chapter missing. The lack of definitive information has fueled various interpretations and theories. Some researchers delve into comparative mythology, seeking parallels in other ancient cultures to fill the gaps. It's like a mythological scavenger hunt. Some scholars argue that their limited role in the surviving texts reflects their lesser importance in Norse belief. They suggest that Vili and Ve might have been overshadowed by more prominent gods like Odin, Thor, and Loki, like the side characters in a blockbuster movie. Others suggest that their stories might have been more prominent in oral traditions that were not recorded. These oral traditions, passed down through generations, could have contained richer narratives about Vili and Ve that were lost over time. It's like the ultimate game of telephone, but with gods. The echoes of Vili and Ve in the Eddas remind us of the vast, untold stories that lie beneath the surface of recorded history, waiting to be rediscovered and reimagined. Who knows, maybe one day they'll get their own spin-off series. Section 8, the Saga Whispers. While Vili and Ve are not the protagonists of any major Norse sagas, their presence is felt in the background, like that one friend who always photobombs your best pictures. These sagas, often focusing on human heroes, occasionally allude to the deeds of the gods, kind of like how your grandma always sneaks in stories about her cat during family dinners. The Volsunga saga, for example, recounts the origin of the cursed ring Andvaranart. No, not the one from that other famous trilogy. This ring plays a pivotal role in the events leading up to Ragnarok, like the ultimate plot twist in a season finale. While Vili and Ve are not directly involved in the tale, their creation of the world and its treasures is a constant backdrop to the saga's tragic events, much like the background music in a dramatic movie scene. Their influence is subtle, woven into the fabric of the world like Easter eggs in your favorite video game. Their absence in the sagas is almost as telling as their presence might have been, like when you notice your favorite character is missing from an episode. Section 9, Forgotten Deities, Enduring Influence. Despite their limited appearances in Norse mythology, Vili and Ve remain intriguing figures. Think of them as the Norse gods' version of the backup singers. Their role in the creation myth is undeniable. They were like the cosmic handymen fixing up the universe. They are essential to the Norse worldview. Kind of like how coffee is essential to Monday mornings. They help shape the cosmos and breathe life into humanity. Talk about a breath of fresh air, yet they're often forgotten, overshadowed by their more famous brother Odin. It's tough being the middle child, even in mythology. Their story raises questions about the nature of power, destiny, and the passage of time. And maybe why they didn't get their own Marvel movies. Even in their absence, they remind us that even gods can fade from memory. Just like that one sock that always disappears in the laundry. Section 10, the Enduring Allfather. Odin, on the other hand, stands as the enduring figure of Norse mythology. His thirst for knowledge, his willingness to sacrifice, and his complex nature continue to fascinate. And let's not forget his impressive beard game. He is both a wise ruler and a cunning trickster. Kind of like a Norse version of a CEO who also moonlights as a stand-up comedian. A loving father and a ruthless warrior. Talk about a dad with a double life. Perhaps the absence of Vili and Ve serves to highlight Odin's unique position. Or maybe they just got tired of his dad jokes. He's left to grapple with the knowledge of Ragnarok, which is basically the Norse version of the end of the world as we know it, the inevitable doom of the gods. No pressure, right? He is the one who must prepare for the final battle. Because when the going gets tough, the tough get Odin. Section 11. Conclusion, the Untold Legacy. The story of Vili and Ve is a reminder that even in the most well-known mythologies, there are untold stories. And some of them are just as dramatic as a Viking soap opera. Their legacy lies in the world they helped create. A world of giants and gods, monsters and heroes, and basically the original Avengers, but with more beards. Though they may be forgotten by some, their contribution to the Norse cosmos is undeniable. Like that one friend who always brings snacks to the party. They remain intriguing figures, their stories open to interpretation, inviting us to explore the mysteries of the Norse world, and maybe even start a fan club. Their tale reminds us that every myth has layers and every hero has a beginning, and sometimes a really epic beard.